Oodalally, golly, what a day. Boop. I'm sorry, did you think we were done with Robin Hood content? Hey ho, I'm Rachel, this is Missy, and we're Miss Daisy Sewing. And today we're going to talk about the best female character in Robin Hood. Move over, Maid Marian, we're talking Lady Kluck.
Take that, you scoundrel!
Everyone's favourite badminton racket wielding chicken. So, obviously, we're going to Nottingham at the end of the month for our sort of Robin Hood medieval fantasy festival thing. And we're bringing a friend, my friend Amy from Amy's Rambles, who you've met before on the channel. And she wants to join in on the fun. I had sort of forewarned her that Matt and I were going to dress up as Robin Hood and Prince John. And she was like, oh, I need to join in too. And it was actually Matt, my husband's idea, who came up with Lady Kluck, because she is just a hilarious character. And I love the idea of Amy wandering around Sherwood Forest with a badminton racket. It needs to happen. And it also ties in really nicely with, a future Disney Bound if we all go to the parks again together, which we've done in the past. And yeah, do you know what? I'm not going to ramble too much just now. Let's just go discuss how I want to tackle this and have some fun. We're going to use the popover dress from the Gertie Sews Jiffy Dresses book. I've made this before for an auntie. She wore it to her son's wedding. So pleased with how it came out. And it's such an easy dress to make, really easy pattern. But it means that we're ahead of the game because I already have the pattern pieces cut. And we're going to try and make the most that we can out of this blue fabric. I do have a backup fabric for lining that's a similar shade of blue. So let's just get on with it. Sleeves, we will figure out. Well, I don't know how much fabric I've got left. But yeah, let's just get on with it. This is such an easy pattern to draft. It's literally the same panel 4 times. For the sleeves, I used the medieval dress sleeve. I didn't have enough fabric to get the sleeve done entirely in one piece, so I took advantage of the fact that there's a sort of ribbon and did it in 2 parts, making sure to add that seam allowance. So I've got here the fabric pieces and also a sort of light blue fabric I had in my stash. It's kind of got dandelions and stuff on it that I'm going to use as a sort of backing to flatline these. My first step is going to be to very quickly sew together the 2 parts of the sleeves, both for the main fabric and the flat lining. I've had to cut it in 2 parts. So I'm going to quickly sew the 2 halves together off camera, and then I'm going to grab the overlocker and get everything flat lined. After that, I'm going to pick back up with you guys because that's when we're going to start adding in some details before assembly. So I'll see you in a sec. Of all the sidekicks, why Lady Kluck? She's fiercely loyal, she's sassy, and she's the comedic best friend who breaks traditional damsel in distress stereotypes. Despite her appearance and her love for traditional feminine hobbies like crocheting, she transforms into an absolute powerhouse when her friends are threatened. Famously bulldozing all of Prince John's rhino guards like an American football player. Lady Kluck is the ultimate ride or die. She completely refuses to be a background character, actively participating in the rebellion rather than waiting on the sidelines. This is a super easy pattern, so it's literally made up of 4 of these. And the center seam here gets stitched together on 2 of them. That makes the front of the dress, and then we do the 2 side seams in the shoulder. And that's literally all there is to this. I'm going to add in some pockets because pockets, and then obviously we're going to add on sleeves. So let's just start with that center seam and then we'll get those pockets in. So this dress pattern comes from the book Gertie Sews Jiffy Dresses, and I will admit it took me an embarrassingly long time to realise that by jiffy what she meant was you can sew it in a jiffy. which is obviously a sort of slang term for quickly. And the idea behind all of the dresses in this specific book is that they can be made effectively in a weekend, which is great when you are on a time crunch like I was with this project. So I've just finished the sleeves. Pleased with them, like they're really big and drapey. But what I've noticed is when I've gone to install them, I'll just pop that through there. This is the problem when you're mashing patterns. So my sleeve is actually shorter than the arm side by about 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is put in a little gusset. I don't have enough of this fabric to recut it. So I'm going to put in a little gusset from about here up to the top to just open this up by that sort of 2 inches, and then this will fit into that arm side perfectly. So I'm just going to get on with that straight away. I think we can all agree that gusset is one of those absolutely horrible words. It sounds almost vulgar, despite being completely innocent. They are super important in the history of dressmaking, or clothes really. They provide more space for movement, they provide more durability in areas of high wear and tear, like underneath the armpit or between the legs. And whilst traditionally they were sort of diamond shaped, here I'm just going to make a triangle, which is what you can see me sort of measuring out. And then gently open up that seam to allow me to then insert in the gusset. The ribbon provides a really nice place marker so that both of my sleeves will be the same. And after a quick trip to the sewing machine, you can see here what that gusset looks like once it's been inserted in. Bearing in mind this will be under the armpit, so in addition to the fact that I don't think it's particularly noticeable as is, it will be hidden underneath the arm. There we are, that's just got our sleeves on. Really pleased with it. I'm actually quite excited to see it on Amy because it'll actually sit properly. Next step is going to be getting everything pressed, because that'll make doing the hemming much easier if I just press the hems on the sleeves and the bottom and around that neckline. And then I'm going to add some ribbon around the neckline and then a little bit on that bottom hem. And then that's technically the dress part done. Everything is pressed. I'm really pleased with how this facing is sitting. So I'm now going to stitch down my hems and then get the ribbon put on around this neckline. The difference the ribbon makes is astronomical. All of a sudden it just looked so pulled together. I wouldn't normally recommend ribbon for this kind of task, but because all of my edging was long, pretty straight seams, I kind of got away with it. But if you're doing something with a lot of curves, I would recommend something more cut on the bias for this kind of task. I'm so pleased with how this has turned out. I think for such a simple dress pattern, the little bit of ribbon really elevates it, and it really does read Lady Kluck. Now, there's another part of this outfit that is just as important as this light blue kirtle, and that's the bloomers. Yes, we're gonna make some bloomers. Consider this the speed run on how one does bloomers. What I did for this is I used a pattern piece for a pair of trousers that would fit Amy, but I extended each of the 4 panels, so each of the 2 fronts and the 2 separate backs, by about 5 or 6 inches. I wanted tons of volume on these things, and from there assembly was as usual for any pair of trousers or shorts. There we are, we have the start of our pantaloons. They are deliberately oversized because we want that sort of puffy fullness once they're on. I've already got some elastic pre-cut, so our next step is just making channels for the elastic to go into. And I'm going to have a quick read around my lace stash because I'd love to have some lace on the bottom around the cuffs here. That would be a nice to have, so I'll see what I can find. Had a dash in the loft, and we've got some. Woo! And that is going to look fantastic on the cuffs there. I tried putting the lace on in a couple of different ways, and in the end resorted to a method of top stitching the lace on after I had inserted in the elastic. Oh my god, guys, I love how these bloomers have turned out. They look fantastic, so super pleased. The next part of the costume is going to be like her little hat. So I'm going to take a little bit to brainstorm on how I best want to do that. But in the meantime, you guys just need to see how phenomenal these bloomers are. Oh my god. I love them. The lace. Guys, the lace. Like, I love these. I cannot wait to see this outfit come together. It's coming together, guys. Ah! Loving it. Absolutely loving it. So this here is going to be more of a crafting project than a sewing project. I'm going to use the foam board to make a pillbox sort of shape, and then just cover it with the sort of scrap leftover fabric I've got here and some ribbon just to tie it all together. I'm just going to put on a audiobook. I'm listening to the very appropriate Outlaw, The Story of Robin Hood by Michael Morpurgo, and just vibe with this, get the glue gun going, and just push on with this. This was definitely the craft project part of this project, and it's always fun to just take a break from sewing and go to town with the glue gun and some foam board. As you can see here, I just made a rough little pillbox shape, wrapped everything in the corresponding colour of fabric, and glued it to deafen back. Guys, this costume was the perfect complement to finish the trio. We got so many comments and she was recognised by most people. There was one slight fit issue. Let's just say that Lady Kluck was at risk of being a little bit X-rated without her vest on there. I managed to fix that coming home, just took the sleeves off and raised the shoulders to bring up the height of that V-neck. And apart from that, it was perfect. As you can see, it's really light and airy, and she had tons of movement, and overall, Amy had a blast in this. On that note, I do think Lady Kluck is one of the best sidekicks. So, until next time, cheerio!